Hey guys, I'm Chase Brogan. Today in this video, we're going to dive into this 500 gigabyte Launchbox plug and play game drive that I found on AliExpress for just 27 bucks. This advertises over 3,760 games, which is quite impressive at that low price point. So we're going to fire this up. It connects over to a PC via this USB-A connection right here. So we'll launch it, we'll tour through all the different collections available on here, and then we'll dive into some games to test out the performance. Let's dive into it and get started. All right, guys, so here we are right inside a Launchbox here. And if we go down to the bottom, it says we are displaying 3,794 games total on here. So definitely over what is advertised on AliExpress. So we're off to a good start. We're currently in the all games list. So all of your categories and collections are going to be over here on the left-hand side. And as we scroll down in the all games list, everything will be listed in alphabetical order. So we've got cover art for each of our titles. And this is going to be, once again, everything on here. So it's combining all of these categories into one master list. But you get a feel for how it's laid out inside here. But let's go into, and it looks like almost everything is scraped. And when I say scraped, I mean all of the images are present in here. And when we click on one, we'll click on, let's go to an American title right here, for example. It should, typically it does populate over here on the right hand side. Oh, there it goes right there. It just takes a second. So it tells you the title, it tells you when it was released, what console collection it belongs to, and all that. So we'll go down to the first collection here on the left hand side, which is Nintendo 64. 391 games present in this collection. That's pretty significant for N64. We've got some foreign releases, as you can see right here. And then, of course, our US releases kicks off with GoldenEye 007 up here at the top. So let's kind of scroll down and see what is inside here. So I definitely like the way that it's laid out. And it looks like the American titles, for the most part, have this sort of layout, while foreign releases are, more of the vertical image here. It's definitely like the box art. I mean, this takes you to down memory lane. At least it does for me, going through here and just seeing all these games that, I mean, you used to see on the shelves at like Blockbuster or, Toys R Us if you were buying them. So pretty cool stuff here for sure. So we've got California Speed, one of my favorites here. I'm sure we have the cruising titles in here, which I was also a big fan of. We've got the Clay Fighter games here. So these you can save yourself an absolute fortune on right here, because if you went and bought Clay Fighter Sculptor's Cut, it would cost you an absolute fortune. So here's the cruising games: Exotica, USA, and World, all present in here. Some Tiger Woods Golf up there. We've got Diddy Kong Racing, which is great. Donkey Kong 64. We've got Doom 64 here. We've got Duke Nukem 64, Zero Hour. We got some ECW over here. Excite Bike 64. Definitely good titles here for sure. Gauntlet Legends, one of my all-time favorites. So there are a couple titles here that do not have, the images on here, but for the most part, the majority do. We'll keep it moving. Hydro Thunder, great game right there. So we got to at least check and make sure we've got Kirby 64 right there. But we got to make sure that we have the Zelda games, and we do. And then we got to check and make sure we've got some Madden up here, which is great. But do we have the Mario games? There we go. We got Mario Golf, Mario Kart 64, Mario Party. We got this foreign released one right here. Mario Party 1 through 3 are here. Mario Tennis is here, of course. So we've got all that stuff. And we'll keep it moving here. Mortal Kombat. Got all of those. Bunch of NBA games here. This was my favorite, NBA Showtime, NBA on NBC. Loved that in the arcade too. They used to have that actually paired with, I think it was NFL Blitz 2000 if I'm not mistaken. Looks like we have all the NFL Blitzes here. A lot of NHL as well. Now let's see if we've got Perfect Dark right here. Great game. Pokemon games. But do we have all of our wrestling games? Let's see if we have WCW. Got the Ready to Rumbles. Always love those. But let's scroll down. If we have these, I'm sure that we have the WCW games. Got some Star Wars, StarCraft, Star Fox, all that good stuff. Tony Hawk Pro Skater, games, 1 through 3. All right, there we go. So we have them all. That's awesome. We got Backstage Assault, Mayhem, Nitro, WCW vs. NWO World Tour, and Revenge here, my all-time favorite. Now, do we have WWF? Yes, we do. We've got them all. Attitude, No Mercy, Warzone, and WrestleMania 2000. So this is a great collection. I'm really happy with this. We got Yoshi's Story here as well. Let's go to the next one. We've got Nintendo Entertainment System here with 1,746 games. You're going to have foreign releases as well as U.S. releases here. And I would imagine with that massive number there that we're going to have a little bit of everything. So I'm not even remotely concerned that anything might be missing from this. But let's scroll down towards the bottom. Let's see if we have our Super Mario games. I mean, of course we have to. If not, this would be the worst possible game drive ever. All right, we've got some Star Wars over here. These are great games. Always enjoyed these, especially Empire Strikes Back. Really enjoyed that. But let's go down a little bit further, and we should be able to find, we've got some Super Donkey Kong over here, but I'm sure we have our Super Marios. There we go, Super Mario Brothers. Here we have the Super Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt together. Lots of good stuff here. So Super Mario Brothers 2, 3 over here. So yeah, definitely have a little bit of everything over here for Nintendo Entertainment System. Now let's go into GameCube. So for GameCube, we have 35 titles. You got Animal Crossing, ATV2, Quad Power Racing, which is a really good game. What else we have? We've got Capcom vs. SNK2. We've got Donkey Kong, Jungle Beat. We've got Crazy Taxi over here. Donkey Konga, Eternal Darkness. We got Freedom Fighters, which is a cool game. We've got Hitman 2. Hunter the Reckoning here. So these are actually a lot of titles that you don't see a whole lot on game drives like this, but I definitely am a fan. Lara Croft Tomb Raider Legends here. We've got some Zelda titles. We've got Luigi's Mansion, Mario Golf. Now these are the titles that we're used to seeing, and rightfully so. I mean, these are some of the most popular titles for GameCube. Mario Kart Double Dash, Mario Party 5, Mario Power Tennis, Metroid Prime 2 Echoes. Odd that we don't have the original one here, but we have the sequel. We've got Pikmin 2, we've got Prince of Persia, we got The Sims, we've got Rogue Leader, Rogue Squadron 2 from Star Wars, great game. Super Mario Sunshine, another great game. Wario World, we've got WarioWare, and Extreme Racing, or excuse me, Extreme G Racing. So definitely some cool titles here. Definitely some that are really popular, some that are a little bit lesser known, so it's a good mixture. So was that 35 total? Yeah, 35 titles in total. We'll go to the next one, which is Switch. Now, Switch on here, 11 games, definitely interesting. Now, these, I believe, are going to be older Switch games, like ARMS. Great game, though. We've got Celeste here, Do Not Feed the Monkeys. What else do we have? We've got Flippin' Cactus, Flashback. We've got Hollow Knight, which is cool. Zelda Link's Awakening. We've got Splatoon 2. We've got Splatoon 2. We've got Super Mario Odyssey here. And keep in mind, you can add more games if you want. This is just giving you 11 titles to start, but you could always add more games. Or, you know, if you go through here and say, hey, I'll never play Flippin' Cactus, I'll never play Flashback, you can remove those, add your own Switch games to the mix here if you wanted to. So we'll keep it moving. We have Nintendo Wii here. So only 6 games for this one. Let's see what's in here. We've got Donkey Kong Country, Returns, which is a great game. One of the best Wii games, in my opinion. Batman 2 DC Superheroes, Batman the video game. We've got some Capcom over here. So interesting, but it said 6, right? 1, 2, 3. I'm only seeing 4. And, okay, Mario Kart Wii. So there's no image here, but if you click, you'll see that Mario Kart Wii is actually here. Now, what do we have up here? Let's see. Give us GoldenEye 007. Okay, that's a great game, too. So you kind of have to find those here. It's odd that they're not populating in, but at least they are present, and you could just simply, should be able to right-click. Yeah, right-click and hit play, and they'll launch. I will double-check to make sure that they are working, but 6 total games for Nintendo Wii. We'll keep it moving. We've got Wii U here with 3 games, and we've got Zelda, Wind Waker, we've got Mario Kart 8, and we've got Pokemon Tournament. So, big fan, obviously, of Mario Kart 8. That's what I'm most familiar with here. Great game. We'll check that out. Next collection here is Dreamcast with 22 games. We've got Crazy Taxi 1 and 2, Dead or Alive 2, What else? We got House of the Dead 2 in here, Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver in here, all of which are definitely some of my favorite titles. Marvel vs. Capcom 1 and 2. We've got Power Stone 1 and 2. I mean, they're off to a great start here. San Francisco Rush 2049. Always loved that. Loved it in the arcade as well. Sonic Adventure 1 and 2. What else do we have? We have some Street Fighter games in here, and my all-time favorite, Virtua Tennis. So pretty good assortment of games. Only 22, but that's still a good mixture of titles. I would say that the majority of these are in probably the majority of people's top 10 favorite games. At the very least, we'll keep it moving. We've got Sega Genesis over here, 657 games. So that's pretty good for Sega Genesis. We'll kind of tour through here quick. Aladdin 2, Animaniacs, American Gladiators, cool titles. Definitely got some good stuff in here. Barkley, what is that? Barkley, Shut Up and Jam. Some Batman in here. Sometimes it's fun to just scroll through these games and see what's included, because there's so many games that I forgot about, especially from this era where I was pretty young for the majority of these to come out. Captain America and the Avengers is a great game. Some Castlevania in here. This is an interesting looking one right here. You gotta be careful, I will say that. I don't know about this game specifically, but I'm going to venture to say this might be a little naughty here. There are some naughty games on a lot of these game drives. I'm not speaking about this one specifically, but just in general. So if you have kids, just be aware of that they might venture into some of these collections and find something you don't want them to find. So always got to be careful. But we'll keep it moving here. Was that Demolition Man? Nice. Love that movie. Supposedly they're doing a sequel to that, I heard. Get some Double Dragon over here. Bunch of Double Dragon titles. Now let's just scroll down here. Duke Nukem, great one. Let's see what we have for Sonic. There we go. Look, that couldn't have timed that better. Wow, a lot of Sonic in here. Wow, Sonic and Knuckles, Sonic the Hedgehog 3, Sonic 3D Blast. Lots of stuff. Sonic 3D Blast Director's Cut, Sonic Compilation, Sonic Spinball, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Lots of Sonic in here, so that's pretty cool. Spider-Man and X-Men. Now let's keep it going here. Let's go to Sony PlayStation. This is original PlayStation. 95 games on here, so really cool. Castlevania. Looks like all the Crash Bandicoot games. Diablo, Digimon. Dino Crisis, Driver, Final Fantasy, Gran Turismo, the old school ones, the old school Grand Theft Auto games, some Harvest Moon in here, Hogs of War, that's an interesting one. Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver, which we also had in, we just had that in the Dreamcast collection, I believe. Medal of Honor, Medieval, Mega Man, bunch of Need for Speed titles here. Oddworld is an interesting game. Resident Evil, gotta have the Resident Evil games, and we've got all three of them right here. Those are long games. Lots of good stuff. Wow. Looks like all the Tekken. No, not all the Tekken, but yeah, they're missing the original. But Tekken 2, Tekken 3, Tomb Raider. Looks like all the Tomb Raider games. Tony Hawk Pro Skater, Twisted Metal. WWF SmackDown 1 and 2. Now, that definitely completes it for me. I spent so much time playing these games, especially SmackDown 2, though. Such great games on here. Next in line, we have PlayStation 2. We have Black, which is a great game. Burnout, Dead to Rights 2. What else do we have here? Fight Night 2004, Final Fantasy. God of War 2. Grand Theft Auto 3. Grand Theft Auto, Vice City Stories. Got a bunch of Guitar Hero in here. Guitar Hero 5, Guitar Hero Encore, Rocks the 80s, Jak and Daxter, Kingdom Hearts, wow. Max Payne 2. I see Max Payne 2 on these a lot, and I just always wonder, why no Max Payne 1? How come we don't get the original one ever? It's always Max Payne 2 for whatever reason, which is a good game, but so is Max Payne, the original, you know? Mercenaries, Playground of Destruction. We've got Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3. Metal Slug Anthology, which is a great game, of course. NBA Street Volume 2, Need for Speed Underground 2, Ratchet and Clank, Resident Evil 4, Resident Evil Code Veronica here, Outbreak, Shadow of Colossus, Silent Hill, SOCOM 2, Soul Calibur 2, Spider-Man, SSX on Tour. I'm not sure that's the one. Yeah, I like that one the least, but SSX has some great games. Time Splitters 2 is a great game. Another Situation, where's the original one? Battlefront's here. Battlefront 2 is a great game as well. Tomb Raider, Underworld. Wow. Such great games here. Virtua Fighter over here. X-Men Legends 2. So many great games. PlayStation 3 next up. And wow, we have PlayStation. I didn't even see PlayStation 4 on here too. So Afro Samurai, great game. I'd love to play that, but we would just get totally ruined by all the cussing in that one if I played that in this video. So I'll skip that, but Afro Samurai, great game. Definitely recommend it. We got Castlevania 2 here. We got Ridge Racer 7. That's one of my all-time favorite PS3 games. The Wolf Among Us, and then, I mean, you can't go wrong with Rayman Origins here. So we'll go to PS4. Just 3 games here. Prototype 2. We've got The Witcher, Wild Hunt over here. So PS4, we've got Prototype 2. We've got The Witcher 3, I believe. Yep, that's 3. And we have Grand Theft Auto 5. So, I mean, these are massive games here for PS4. These are going to be PC versions, though I will just give you guys the spoiler alert on that right out of the gate. It always gets classified as PS4, but it's truly not. It's the PC versions. Next, we have Super Nintendo. 761 games. That's pretty massive for Super Nintendo. So I'm sure you'll find all your favorite games inside here. We're not going to go through each and every one, but we'll tour through here briefly at least. And what I always look for in this, I mean, what I go to every single time is always Donkey Kong Country. I mean, that's my favorite game for Super Nintendo. And then, you know, Demolition Man. There's a lot of great movie games that I really enjoy, but Donkey Kong Country 2 and 3, just great. And we've got the Blockbuster Game Championship 2 here, which is pretty cool. So lots of great titles inside here. And then Windows down here. Oh, interesting. Wow, that's cool. I wasn't expecting that. So 8 Windows games. We got Brotato. We've got Dave the Diver. These are mostly not games that I'm super stoked about, but Double Dragon over here, Gaiden. What else do we have? We have Final Fantasy, a couple Final Fantasy games. Vampire Survivors is actually a pretty good game. Definitely recommend checking that one out. But yeah, the majority of these aren't titles that I jump into, but it gets you set up with Windows on here so you can start bringing in your own games. So I would go in here and I'd get rid of some of these titles and start bringing in my own, honestly, so they're included in here and it's customized to what I want. So let's dive in here, let's play some games and make sure everything works properly. right, guys, we took our game drive, we gave it the ultimate test here. We tore through everything that it has to offer, and man, I am blown away by what's on here for a low price of 27 bucks. I mean, this isn't going to rival some of those massive drives out there that have hundreds of thousands of games on them, but this is definitely a streamlined setup that doesn't have duplicates. It's not littered with all those extra versions of games that you don't need that just end up taking up space and taking longer for you to comb through each of these collections. Now, this had a lot to offer for retro gaming, all the way up through PS4 and even some Windows titles. I wasn't super stoked about the PS4 or Windows selection of titles, but it sets up that collection for us to where we can remove those games that we don't want to play and start adding our own into the mix to really customize this and make it our own. I think that's something that a lot of people overlook with drives like this. They think that what you get is what you have to live with. You can fully customize it yourself. You can remove games that you know you're never going to play to free up space, and then add in games that you want to play yourself. So it's a great starting point for people, even if you want to take this and then build something even bigger. If you want to set up a 1 or 2 terabyte drive, you could start with something like this, duplicate it over to a much larger capacity SSD or hard drive, and get started that way. This has a ton of N64 games. That was probably the most stacked collection on here. You had all your classic wrestling games, all your Mario games, all those classic Nintendo titles like Kirby, Donkey Kong, so many great games on here. And then we went into GameCube. GameCube had a much smaller collection of titles, but the games that were able to be played from there were really popular ones, like Metroid Prime 2, for example, Mario Kart Double Dash, Power Tennis. So many great games that I think is easily in everybody's top 10. We jumped into Dreamcast, another similar situation where there weren't a ton of Dreamcast games. However, the most popular titles, in my opinion, were present on here. But it's not ever going to be perfect. It's not going to be exactly what you're looking for every single time. So you can remove those games that you don't want to play, add in the games that you do, and you can make this 100% perfect. Everything performed really well on here today. PS3 was great. I went into Ridge Racer 7, one of my favorite games. Always a blast to play that. We went into some of the classic stuff as well. Just a great experience top to bottom on here. And for 27 bucks, honestly, it makes perfect sense to start with something like this. Like I said, if you're looking to build yourself a much larger game collection. So this saves you the time of downloading ROMs and maybe, having to worry about getting it from sketchy places online. This just makes it a simpler process that jumpstarts you. And at 27 bucks, man, it definitely isn't going to break the bank, but you get some major bang for your buck. Now, I did actually open this up today, and I was pleasantly surprised that it is a Toshiba hard drive found within here. So you can see the brand name right there. A lot of times they'll put generic drives inside, and they just don't last as long. They're not as reliable. So I was pleasantly surprised to find that, it was a branded hard drive found within here. So it's just going to last much longer, in my opinion anyways. It's the same with SD cards. I just find that the generic ones just don't hold up as well. Once you reinsert it in, you just have to slide this in over the top, make sure that the everything's in the track, and just push it together, and you're good to go. Portable, so you can just swap this from PC to PC. You can take it with you easily on the go. Really reliable though. At 27 bucks, it's a no-brainer in my opinion. So if you're interested, check it out at the link at the top of your screen or in the description of this video. Let me know what you guys thought of this 500 gigabyte plug-and-play Launchbox hard drive in the description of this video, or excuse me, in the comments of this video. But jump down to the description to click over, learn a little bit more about what this has to offer and what it's currently selling for as prices do fluctuate. That's going to do it for today though. Give you a thumbs up on the video if you enjoyed the content, and hit subscribe to stay in the loop for all future videos right here on the Chase Brogan YouTube channel. Thanks for watching. See you guys on the next one.